Hey, Dan Cucimilio here, NorCal Sports, along with Bora. Breaking news as San Francisco Giants starting pitcher / reliever Jordan Hicks goes on the 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation. And Bora, I saw this coming in the beginning of the season when they said he was going to be a starter.
I think a lot of people saw it coming. He's never pitched more than, 100 innings in his career. He's never had the workload that he's had to pitch as a starter, and the Giants signed him to be a starter. The reason he signed with the Giants was to be a starter, and you could see it right away. His velocity was very inconsistent. His first start of the season against the Padres, he was touching 99, touching 100, and then it was a steady decline, and he would be missing starts. There would be rumors about him being sick, under the weather. It was just, I think we could all see this coming. His arm isn't built up enough to handle the workload that the Giants requested him this season. I think that what they should have done is just given him a specific innings max. It should have been about 75 innings, 75 to 85 innings, and just slow it down. Maybe you pitch him every other start. It doesn't have to be ramp up, every start.
Good
And
point.
he wasn't going like the 6-7 innings. He was going 4 or 5 innings, and it was high stress innings. He was not able to throw too many strikes, and he was very inconsistent. And I mean, you're right. We all saw this coming. You called it earlier in the season. It's unfortunate now that it's happening right when the Giants kind of need that bullpen boost. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is, and I think a lot of us saw this coming.
Yeah, this is all, to me, it pins right back on Farhan. I was promoting that the Giants during free agency signed Jordan Hicks. Never in my wildest dreams did I envision him as a starter. I was thinking, man, build a back end of a bullpen with, how about you go 6, 7, 8, 9th, even the 5th. You had Ryan Walker, the Rogers brothers, Hicks, and Duvall as your back 5. And, you're creating another dynamic bullpen that won you 3 world championships with the core 4, right? And that's what I'm thinking. Sign this guy, perfect fit. And when Farhan said, going to make him a starter, I went on the air right away and said, this is a mistake. He is going to flame out. And my fear was that they would wear him out. And by the second half, he wouldn't even be useful to the team because he would be fatigued and he wouldn't be available. And it's exactly as I predicted. And I don't want to say like I know it all, but sometimes you could just see things when a guy hasn't pitched that much. He never, Bora, he got into the 5th inning once in his career before this year, once. And he was never a long guy. And Farhan has just screwed up the entire pitching staff. He got rid of Cobb when you need pitchers, you need arms, and Wynn's hurt. Mason Black got shellacked in his outings. Birdsong is over his innings limits. He's tiring. Harrison's tiring.
We don't know what's the update with Tristan Beck.
Yeah, Tristan Beck should be coming back, but you have really 2 reliable starters. It's like last year they only had 1. And now they got 2, and it's like, hey, maybe next year we can move it to 3. I mean, it's unbelievable. We talked about this. We said Cobb and Ray were the ones they were counting on in the second half. Mentioned it many times. You're not going to be able to count on guys to give you what you hope you're going to get out of them because they're coming off big injuries.
Exactly. You shouldn't be relying on these guys. I mean, going back to Jordan Hicks, I'm looking at his stats. He's 4-7 this year with a 3.9 ERA. He's thrown 108 innings. He's struck out 95. He has a whip of 1.4, and he's walked 46. So his strikeouts and walks are pretty much 2-1, which is not what you want. You want it to be much higher than that. That's who he's been as a pitcher his whole career. He's been a little wild. He hasn't had the consistency to be able to throw strikes. And it's really tough to see this as a Giants fan because they have him for 4 years. All right, they signed him 4 years, 28 million. I'm pretty sure.
I would shelve the whole starting pitching and make him a bullpen guy.
Yep.
And if he doesn't want to do that, it's tough luck.
I mean, you signed here. You're getting paid 28 million. They signed Taylor.
I think he got 44 million for 4 years.
Was it 44? Okay, 44.
11 a year.
11 a year. They signed Taylor Rogers for, what is it, 3 years,
39 or 33, something like 33 maybe. Yeah.
I think they signed Taylor Rogers for 11 million. So it's not like they're not going to do that to a reliever. It's just, I think the whole problem with Jordan Hicks and this Giants team has been inconsistency. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, I would love to see Jordan Hicks go out and throw 6 innings every go out and pitch consistently to like a 3.5 ERA. But it doesn't happen. He'll have his moments. He'll have his moments where he completely shuts down a team when he's right. But he'll also have his moments when he's just completely out of it.
Correct.
He'll do the 3 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 6 walks. He'll be all over the place, and that's not what you want from a team who's been struggling in the past, who's made 1 postseason appearance since 2016. You need consistency on this team, and you need to be able to have a starting rotation and pitching staff and bullpen that is consistent and has longevity.
Right. Absolutely. I'm just going to look up the stats real quick here of the relievers. How many innings is the Rogers? You might have it right there. How many innings have the Rogers pitched, and also Walker? I know Walker's had a lot of appearances.
I'm going to pull that up right now on Fangraphs.
Okay. And then, because what I'm looking at is that Jordan Hicks probably should be throwing you 60 innings a year. And in key high leverage situations, the guy was throwing, what was he throwing? 103, 104?
I think his top was like 105.
Yeah, 105. And now he's down into the low to mid 90s at time for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken 10 miles an hour off of his fastball, and you can't tell me that shoulder hasn't been bothering him for a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was a time this past week, I think, where he didn't pitch for 3 or 4 games.
Right.
And we were all wondering what's up with him. I think he was having that shoulder injury, and Ray goes down with the hamstring, Hicks goes down with the shoulder. I think there's a good chance we don't see these guys for the rest of the season. I think they might have a little rough go here with Milwaukee. And then who are they playing after Milwaukee?
They come home for Miami and then Arizona.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this upcoming schedule in September is brutal. You're playing a lot of playoff teams. We've said it before. This team is going. It's going south, and it's going south.
Yeah, I think it finishes under 500. This is a team that looks very similar to last year, wearing out. The bullpen's worn down, and now you got your starting pitching. You have basically starting pitchers left. You have Snell and Webb and Harrison. That's it. Birdsong you can't count on him because he's pitched more innings, and they may even end up shutting him down at some point because you don't want to ruin a young kid this
who has
early
potential.
in his career.
I mean, he has ace potential, in my opinion.
Yeah, Birdsong has some great stuff. I mean, he just needs to, he needs to get to work, but you don't want to overdo this kid because that's the thing. The Giants, out of desperation, are putting guys in. Another thing I was thinking about this, Bora, the other day. Joey Bart was released early on in the season for Dalton Jeffries to pitch game 4 of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Another desperation move. They didn't have enough pitching, and they sent Joey Bart so Dalton Jeffries could pitch. I think Dalton Jeffries pitched, 2 to 3 games for the team all year, and that was it.
And he didn't pitch well.
And he didn't pitch well, and you lost Joey Bart.
Mm-hmm.
You lost Joey Bart, and you signed Tom Murphy to $8 million contract for 2 years. You had Bart signed. You had him under team control. He was arbitration years. So you could have kept Bart and made him the perfect complement to Patrick Bailey. Now you've worn out Patrick Bailey as well because you just played him and played him and played him because you didn't have a backup catcher really. And so you forced Bailey, and we've seen what Bailey did last year. He tailed off in the second half, got tired. So this year he put on more weight, played him, worn out. His bat was, he was in the 280s to 290 range. Now he's in the low 230s.
Just a
And
decline.
I said
decline.
that, and I said that would happen too. I
You
said
did.
his batting average is going to end up in the 230, 240 range. Don't count on Patrick Bailey hitting 290. You know, the thing about Bailey would be great is if he did hit 240 to 250, but just did it consistently, you know, kept his average around 240 to 250, you know, bounce, you know, maybe it fluctuates.
Another example of consistency.
Fluctuates 20 points up and down, but to go from 300 down to 230 in the matter of a month, month and a half.
That's detrimental to your team.
Yeah. And now he's lost because he was pressing, trying to work on his swing to get back into the lineup, and he hurts his oblique trying to make adjustments. But you know what? If you don't have to rely on Patrick Bailey, Joey Bart was a good defensive catcher. Tom Murphy was not and is not. Murphy was supposed to be a pretty good hitter. Yes, granted. But he's a liability defensively. Bart was not. And look at what Bart's doing now with Pittsburgh. That, you know, he's been hitting great, hitting above 265. He's got some power. His OPS is like over 800, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you never gave him a chance. This is another indictment to me about Farhan's not the inability to see with his eyes what people could do. I mean, he missed it on Ramos. He missed it on Fitzgerald early on in the season. These guys ended up having to push the door down, kick the door down to stay in the lineup. And, you know, I mean, because Fitzgerald had the talent in the beginning of the season, but they never gave him a shot. He makes a mistake, they send him down.
We saw the talent last year.
Yes, exactly. He comes up. He doesn't get the full playing time. He struggles. They send him down. They did it with Luciano. They did it with Matos. They did it with Ramos prior. They did it with Bart. This team, we don't even know the potential of this team. It's possible, Bora, that this team could actually be good if they let all these young guys play. And Casey Schmidt, another example. We don't know. But, you know, give these guys a full year and see what you have. And then if they make it, great. You know what you have. But if they're not cutting it, at least you gave them 350, 400 at bats to find out, hey, they can make the adjustments or they can't.
Exactly. Going back to the bullpen talk, Ryan Walker's pitched 67 in the third innings. Tyler Rogers has pitched 59 in the third innings. Taylor Rogers 51 in the third innings. Those are the top three. And then Sean Jelly's pitched 65 in the third innings.
Okay. So Jordan Hicks, if he was in that mix, everybody else's numbers would have come down too.
Exactly.
Because he would have brought the average down, and you could have had all those guys right around finishing the season at about 60 innings.
And you know who wouldn't have got hurt, most likely?
Who's that?
Randy Rodriguez.
Oh, Randy Rodriguez.
Who pitched 47 and 2/3 innings. I mean, this was his rookie campaign. He has promising stuff. He has electric stuff, but I think they just overworked him.
Yeah, they needed to spread the wealth, and it's because they did not have enough, lack of starting pitchers. Look, Farhan spent all offseason chasing Ohtani and Yamamoto, and we knew that was going to come up empty-handed, while the Kansas City Royals went and got Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha. You know, lower level guys who have filled in admirably. And, you know, the Kansas City Royals now are fighting for a playoff spot this year. And you know what? Those were great signings by the Royals, because if Lugo or Walker or both did not pan out fully, like let's say they were doing well, but the team wasn't, great trades at the trade deadline. But because they got good use out of them, the team has overperformed. They're probably going to make the playoffs. And, you know, Farhan, you know, he used to go after those type of guys, and he didn't this year. He did not add to the pitching at all, starting pitching.
He got away
Jordan.
from
He did with Jordan Hicks, our main
he got
subject.
with Jordan Hicks, but he got away from his 2-year opt-out deal thing.
Yeah.
That he'd played with for so long.
Right.
Well, that's it. 15 minutes in, Jordan Hicks goes on the 15-day IL, shoulder inflammation. Talked a little about the bullpen, a little bit about Bart. We'll be going live a lot, Dan. You're going to be having some special guests on. Ron Rivera is going to be coming on. Ned Coletti, Marty Lurie.
Yeah. Ned Coletti, Marty Lurie tomorrow night on Wednesday night. I'm not sure when this one airs, but I guess it'll air today, right?
Sometime today, yeah.
Yeah. So tonight we'll have the post game at 8:00 for the San Francisco Giants, Milwaukee Brewers. We have an actual pregame coming up pretty quick in about 5-10 minutes. We finish this, we'll do the pregame, and then we've got the postgame at 8 and 9:30 tonight. Ned Coletti will join NorCal Sports, and then tomorrow night for the postgame, Wednesday night, Marty Lurie will join us, and then Thursday at 7:00 before we do the Giants postgame at 8. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, former Super Bowl champion with the 1985 Chicago Bears, head coach of the Carolina Panthers and the Washington Commanders. So we will see you guys later on tonight, 8:00 post game, 9:30. Ned Coletti. Thanks for joining, everybody.
Yeah.